Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM22 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. We're back for part 37 today and it should, if all was going normally, be the start of season 6. But as you can see, we are back on the 15th of June and at the top right of the screen says must respond. You know and I know that can only mean one thing, but it is a little bit of a dilemma and we'll discuss why in a moment. It's been a story this summer of job applications, job interviews and job offers. But are we going to take the one we've been offered now? It's a great opportunity, but again, like when we joined Dover, the expectations are impossibly high. So if you're looking forward to finding out who it is, whether we're going to go, and what's been happening here at Dover that's making me want to stay, then please do put a thumbs up on the video, subscribe down below for daily FM22 content from 2 long-term stories. We've got another one from Hemel Hempstead tomorrow, a big transfer special as we need a vast improvement on what we did last year there. And of course there's Cricket 22 up in the eye above. The latest episode of that one was out yesterday morning. But a big thank you for your support as always, both here and over on Twitch. It is greatly appreciated. Keep your eyes peeled on the podcast channel for a fun Christmas ramble coming soon too. There's plenty to enjoy over there. But let's start by having a look at what's been happening at Dover Athletic, because the transfer work has been exceptional. And there's a lot of me that thinks this is a good place to stay. We're expected to fight bravely against relegation. We've turned professional and we've got some good players in. Let's have a look at what's joined so far. Now at the moment, there's a deal being discussed with Keston Davis, someone I've interviewed on the podcast before, who is a really nice bloke. He's a leader, he's a captain at TNS, and he's a good centre-half too. Would certainly improve our side a little bit, much better than the likes of Lucas Ness, probably slightly better than Pakpe, because the star ratings are all over the place between scouts and coaches, but a very good player nonetheless, and I wouldn't be too disappointed to see him join. What makes it even harder though, are the ones that have already joined. So we have got Liam Bossin, who's coming on a free transfer. Big upgrade in goal on Matthew Hall. If I give you a little bit of a comparison to Matthew Hall, we're talking about a massive upgrade across the board. In terms of attributes, look at the goalkeeping and mental attributes. It's ridiculous. It is a different level of goalkeeper ready for the Football League. So Kevin Wilkin, despite the early problems, is doing what I expected him to when we joined the club. He is really identifying good players. Bossin is a player who'd been at Shamrock Rovers and Dordrecht. He's not a player who's played in England, so where he's finding him from, I don't know. Corey Jordan is the other one, someone we know very well. We managed him at Ballymena last year in our Twitch save, and he's fantastic. Again, big upgrade on Lucas Ness, versatile enough to cover at right back as well. And mentally, he's ready for the Football League. So I really believe that this Dover side, with or without me, will stay up, and there's a lot that tempted me to stay. Not least that Brandon Haynes has joined for another year on loan. One of the best players I've ever managed at non-league level, probably the best. And he's staying with Dover Athletic for another season. And if you want to adapt to the Football League, it's a lot easier with someone like him in the team, for sure. So they are 4 deals that potentially make me want to stay. I know they'll be losing the other 2 loan players, Banks and McKenna. But with Jordan coming in, that sort of replaces one of them. Kanu didn't offer much anyway, neither did Noon later on. And there's nobody else going out. Everyone's on the contract for at least another year. Kevin Wilkin's well prepared. You've got to give him that. He's adapted to professional life well. However, Dover Athletic is a club that until this point had been semi-pro. Reputation-wise, if we go and have a look at the club itself, it is what, 1.5 star I think? It is 1.5 star regional reputation. A smaller club, albeit a great one, in the bottom corner of the country. What we have had over the last 3 weeks is some job interview offers, some interest and some media talk from institutions in the footballing world. Let's go and have a look at them. It's a little bit of a 3-week timeline, this one. And we start on the 24th of May, where I made the offer for the brand job. Just thought it'd be nice to get abroad to a 2.5, 3-star reputation team playing in a top tier somewhere. That one, nothing's been heard back, didn't come off. Oldham then weirdly the next day offered us a job interview. Very good club, but mid-table in the National League. We can't be leaving a League 2 club for a National League club. I don't care what the money changes, I wouldn't do that in real life. Victoria Pelzen though, was a job that I felt quite attracted to. A club that quite often competes in European qualifiers, a club with a bit of a rich history, and a club with a good reputation in a solid league. And Leaks linked us with the role as soon as we applied. Now, I'm not just sure if that's because we applied, but there was a little bit of talk about it. We said we were open to the discussion. The Dover board hoped we'd stay, but then the next day, or a couple of days later, Victoria Pelsham fans said they'd consider our interest, and that really took me by surprise. And I'm no manager from England's non-league, no playing history. It was just a little bit of a weird one. I thought we'd be palmed off straight away. A few days later, though, we got another massive job interview. Sheffield Wednesday, mid-table in League One last season, very big club, of course, had their troubles off the pitch, which we've got to talk about, but we didn't apply at the time. We applied midway through the season. They gave it to the interim, and then at the end of the season, they've identified us as one of the top candidates. Our fantastic performance at Dover and our commitment to their club vision, which we've got to thank Kevin Wilkin for again. And then as soon as we had the interview, it said, "Are we set for the job?" That was the 4th of June. On the 5th, the board were disappointed with us for applying for yet another job or having an interview. The 7th, the Sheffield Wednesday fans laughed off our interest. They said they don't want us near the club. We're a tiny non-league manager. Why on earth would we go there? Well, they're going to be very disappointed now because we have been offered the job. And we've just got to take a minute to look at the finances because we've got to be realistic here. We could say Sheffield Wednesday is a mess off the pitch. Even in this save, if we go and have a look at them, in terms of managers, they've had loads of them. The last manager, Malky Mackay, lasted about 4 months. The manager before, Paul Hartley, lasted about 5 months. The manager before that lasted a year and a bit. The one before that, a year and a half. Darren Moore, not even the first season. So the expectation is higher than the level of the squad. The boardroom is still a mess. I'm guessing financially they're not in a fabulous position, but they are a massive institution of English football. And what we've got to bear in mind is that we're on 800 quid a week. Dover offered us a deal on 975, so we probably could have got £1,000 a week. Sheffield Wednesday have come in £2,500 a week, 2.5 million transfer budget, 155k wage budget. The caveat there, though, is that we're expected to win promotion. Doesn't matter by which form, but a bit like Dover, if we don't get promoted, that could set us back. And then my question is, we step up from non-league Dover to League One Sheffield Wednesday. We fail there. Let's say we finish mid-table or we get sacked in mid-table. Do we then get a next club on the same level as Dover in League Two with the quality of the squad and the infrastructure we've got here? I don't know that we do. And that's what's worrying me at the moment. Having said that, this is a story of realism and we're not going to turn this job down. You could argue the other side is Sheffield Wednesday, the position they're in, most people would give us a bit of leeway if we failed and say, oh, it's probably a bit of the boardroom. So I think we're going to do all right. We promised that we would meet the expectations in the competitions, but I didn't even look at the squad, so it might have been a bit of a bad move. We'll find out in a minute though, because we can't turn it down. It's Sheffield Wednesday. I'm sure the fans will forgive us. Let's have a look at the negotiations and how high we can get this wage. They're only offering us a 1-year deal, but if we can get it up to about £3,000 a week, we're talking 150 grand a year. That's paying off half a house down south, paying off a whole house up north. Let's go for it. What will they suggest? 2.6. We're going to edge down and see how they go. 2.8. They've stuck on 2.6, but it's 130 grand a year. We're going to finalise that deal and we are going to League One. Sheffield Wednesday, here we come. We've got our first big job at a series. And here we are. Out come the camera flashes because we are in charge of Sheffield Wednesday Football Club. We've got a great record at two smaller clubs, it's got to be said. But Sheffield Wednesday, a side that finished 11th last year and looking to get promoted the next season, it's almost deja vu from the Dover job. Will we have a good director of football though? Will we have a squad that's able to compete? And will the money be spent wisely at the higher level? We're reliant on a director of football and yes, we got lucky at Dover, but here we might not have the same fortune. Let's get through here. The media prediction is 4th. There is no director of football at the moment. 2.5-star reputation, big upgrade from Dover there. 40,000 seater, average facilities. It's a massive, massive step up. We're talking about sides that have won a League Cup, a side that has won the FA Cup 3 times, but they're also a club that have been struggling in recent years. The assistant manager is Carl Martin, who was the interim the second half of last season, and he looks very good. I'm happy to have him there by all means. Works well with youngsters, which bodes well for the squad we're probably going to have. Now let's go and see who the director of football is going to be and what squad we've got to work with. So is that Callum Lang? I think it is. We managed him at Wigan in the beta last year. Iorfa at right back I know very well. We know the central midfielders. Who's White? Harvey White, the former Tottenham youngster. Ikpeazu, the former Middlesbrough and Wycombe man up front. And Jamari Clark on the left. It's not a bad side. How many of them are here permanently though? And who's out of contract this summer? Let's have a quick look at the club vision items. Play attacking, entertaining football. Shouldn't be a problem the way we played with Dover. Develop players using the youth system. Sign under 23s. That's up to the director of football. A maximum 1 year contract for over 33. So the expectation of getting promotion is going to make things very difficult. Let's get into the first day at the club though. There's two things we want to do here. Who are the staff we've got to work with? And who are the players? Let's go and meet them and see what this season might be like. Have we made a mistake? Let me know in the comments. Firstly, off to the finances screen. 4.5 million in the bank, that's not too bad. Is there any transfer work this summer so far? So Deli Bashiru is leaving for Colorado. He doesn't look great from what I can see there. He's worse than Brandon Haynes, to put that into perspective. Let's go and have a look at the transfer history. So this summer, there's one free agent that's joined from Falkirk so far. It's a 23-year-old who is not very good. That doesn't bode well at all. A centre-half who's 5'10 and can't jump. Have we made a mistake? Maybe. That isn't a good sign so far. Loads of money being wasted on drivel, really, from the lower leagues. I'm not sure we're going to have the squad we think we've got. Let's have a look at the staff first, though. We've seen Carl Martin, the assistant. Let's have a look at the other key backroom staff here. So Lee Bullen, he's had caretaker spells before. He's under 23 manager. Again, good working with youngsters, great personality, no problem with him. I didn't see Carl Martin's personality earlier. What's it like? He is balanced, but he's got great attributes, so we'll forgive that. First team coaches, Neil Thompson's still there. He was the caretaker in a championship relegation year. Simon Ireland is pretty good. I mean, the infrastructure here is so different. Nicky Weaver's a poor coach, but it's a familiar name from the past. Darren Ward, decent Welsh goalkeeping coach. Head of youth development, Steve Haslam. Very, very good. We should be getting some good youth intakes here. Let's move down through the rest of it. Chief Scout, you're a key person here. David Downs, not bad at all. Have we got good scouts? They've all got above 10, haven't they? Which is all we can ask for, really. Consistency. Apart from that Callum Crooks, who is absolutely useless. So the staff that are here are pretty good. All we need is a director of football. So let's go and get that done straight away. We'll go over here. Hiring and firing a director of football. Change that to the chairperson, and the same for the technical director. And then once the director of football is in, we'll change all the rest of them. Let's go and have a look, though, at the squad. This is what we're all here for. Have we made a mistake, or have we come to the right club? Have we got a chance at promotion with what's already here? Let's start at the development centre. Any youngsters ready to promote? I think no is the simple answer from the 23s. There's some good players about, some with some potential. There's weirdly some 33 and 35-year-olds here who they've obviously offered long contracts to and just not got them off the bill. But it does look like they're both out of contract this summer. And that'll be £9,000 off the wage bill straight away. It gives us room to invest. The star youngsters in terms of potential are definitely Tyler Donovan, who doesn't really look like a great striker. He can't finish, but maybe can play off the wing. And then let's have a look at the under-18s for anyone else that might be about. Please give us some big potential players. Oh God, it's awful. Where is the youth talent coming through? Maybe it's already in the senior squad, but if not, I'm going to be quite unhappy and concerned. Let's have a look at the senior team. Well, to answer my question, it's not here. There's not a lot of good young players in this squad. So whatever director of football comes in is going to have to do some big work. The other concern is there's only really 3 star players. The rest of it is pretty average. There's some very familiar names we didn't see in the introduction. 31-year-old Paul Mullin, 34-year-old Che Dunkley still there. But who's out of contract this year? That's the next question. 2026 is what we're looking for. Dunkley, Bashiru, Liam Palmer and Pere Miller. So these players here are all going to be gone regardless. There are a couple of very big earners here. One on £11,000 a week. Callum Lang's on 8. Iorfa's on 9. So it's a very big step up. But there are some other familiar names. Duncan Watmore. I'm spotting them all the time. Former Luton youth player Arthur Reed is in there too. He's at Stevenage in League 2 in real life. But let's have a look in position and report order at the squad we've got to work with here. My God, look at the keepers. Immediate alarm bells. 1.5-star ability, Joshua Render. He's played half a season. This can't be right. He is worse than the keeper Dover have just signed. By a long way. Oh, don't let the rest of the squad be like this. Please don't. Iorfa is a star man at right back. Let's have a look at him. He can cheer me up a bit because he's still got all of his attributes at 30 years of age. Natural at right back and centre half. We can play him in either. And this might be the sort of team where a back three comes into the question. Good personality too. We've seen also at the back Rashawn Williams, former United youth player. He is very solid. I would have no problem with him starting. I'd probably rather him centre half and Iorfa right back, but they're both very good players. Liam Palmer is leaving. George Williams is well over the hill. Malachi Fagan Walcott is 3-star ability. Not great mentally or technically. He basically is saving himself with pace. I wouldn't like him to be starting every week. I'll be honest with you on that. Che Dunkley is leaving the club. Odesina is a backup at best. Halkett is a backup at best. And what else have we got? McKinnon, the one that just signed, who was terrible. Brian Olivan, a left back, 32 years of age, but pretty decent. As long as he can hold on to his physicals, he'll be all right. And the other one, Regan Clayton, younger and not really that good. I am starting to think we've made a bad mistake here. Because there are 2 defenders that are first team ready, I would say. Maybe Olivan at a push. And we've got no goalkeepers that are even League 2 standard, let alone League 1. Let's move on to centre mid. One of the best ones is Deli Bashiru, who's leaving. The 2 stars, though, are Harvey White, who is a centre midfielder, 3.5-star ability, can play in a holding role or centre mid, and is a decent all-rounder. Again, not a superstar, and he is wanted by QPR, so new director of football might sell him. This is not looking good so far, and even he doesn't look like a league-winning player, does he? Is he better than Brandon Haynes? I don't know. Maybe I'm being too generous towards Haynes, but I don't see anyone standing out here. Dennis Adeniran, former Everton man as a youngster, played for Wilkin and has now got hundreds of appearances here. Very solid all-round midfielder. Good box-to-box candidate. Not the best natural fitness, but he's a player that will happily start for me. Let's move down to Matthias Vecino, who at 34 is a star player. He's got another year contract on massive money, and he's a great player, but he's so over the hill physically. He's got no stamina left, no pace, no strength. He's just there basically to be a big lump with a good long shot. And that isn't really what we wanted from him. I would recommend he gets sold in the summer, but we're not going to be in charge of that, so we'll see what happens. Ben Elliott is another centre midfielder, 2-star ability. God, he's worse than Haynes. And then the last one is Arthur Reed, 26, 2-star ability. He's all right, but I am very underwhelmed by this squad. I'm not sure in some areas of the first 11 this is better than the Dover team. And maybe that's why Dover was so good and won back-to-back promotions. Either their squad is very, very good for the level, or this squad is just utterly atrocious. I'm not sure which it is yet. I hope that it's just the former and that this squad is actually all right. Jaden Fevrier is a winger. He's someone I've seen before. Got bags of pace, can play off either side. And his key attributes are all right. So not a bad player if we need him. Got a very good average rating this year. That's where I recognise him. He was playing for TNS when we left Kefin Druids. Good footballer though. Callum Lang, 3-star ability. Very good all-rounder. Good striker. Good off both wings. Not the ideal number 10, but a definite starter in our team. Scored 8 goals last season. Duncan Watmore, 2.5-star ability. Just losing his pace, but I'm sure he'll be able to contribute a little bit. Paul Mullin, 3-star ability. Good finisher. We've got to find a way to get someone like that in. Ideally, I'd like him to be my backup in that role and duty, but I don't know that we've got much stronger at the minute. He's been a super sub for most of this year, but I find a way to play a front 2 here, I'll do it. And looking at our defence, maybe we have to play a back 3, because as much as I don't fancy the likes of Fagan Walcott or Odesina, they are some of the better players at the club from what we've seen so far. Let's have a quick look at the last few attacking players though. We have got Callum Ainley, former man of Crewe Alexandra, came last season and is okay, but is he a League One winning player? I'm not sure. It looks like he's already transfer listed. wanted on loan by a few clubs further down, and transfer by a club in the A-League. This is smacks of awful recruitment over a number of years. There's a lot of work to do. And unless we get a director of football who's going to be very busy and very involved very early in the window, we're going to start the season with a really poor squad. Let's have a look at Jamari Clark, one of the few young, exciting players. But again, he's not got a good balance of attributes. Started at Reading via Northampton on loan. And he's an okay finisher. He's good dribbling, but he's not the quickest. He's just a little bit of a mismatch of a player. I don't really know where we fit him in, but he's decent enough to be part of the squad. The last one of the superstars is Uche Ikpeazu. Please don't let me down, Uche. He's good. He's a target man. We're going to have to play a very different way, but he's a good striker, and he's someone who can probably score goals. 7 this season. If we can get him alongside a poacher like Paul Mullin, maybe we've got a way of scoring. But that is possibly the most underwhelming moment and squad introduction I've ever had in FM, certainly in the head coach. And I really wish I'd looked before taking a job, because I think we should have stayed at Dover. Let me know in the comments what you think. Of course, it's massive money, a massive club. We can't turn it down. Don't forget, some of those leaving in the summer are big earners at the club. Even this Miller here, he's on £8 a week. They're throwing money about on useless players, and they need a good director of football to control it here. We're not going to have any say on what changes in this squad, and that's probably going to be pretty painful over the next 6 months or so. I'm not confident of promotion. There is no way the other top squads in the league are as bad as this. Let's have a look at the schedule. I don't think the fixtures have been announced yet. They haven't, so we don't know who we're going to be facing. But this squad is going to need vast improvement, and we're going to need a superstar of a director of football. Kevin Wilkin to the rescue, anyone? Let's see who gets appointed. If you did enjoy the episode though, seeing us move to a new club where we're almost being set up to fail at the moment, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments what you think of this squad. Was our Dover team just that good? Or is this utterly awful? I can't quite work out which it is. I'd love one of the old Dover players to be signed just to see how by comparison they are, but maybe I'll do that in an experiment off camera. If you're looking forward to seeing a new season, which will be back in a couple of days' time, please do subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. In the meantime, we've got a big transfer special with Hemel Hempstead Town tomorrow. We need to make big changes there, so it could be an eventful couple of days on this channel. There's also plenty of Cricket 22 content. We'll be back tomorrow morning with our Ashes Test match, and there's links to the podcast channel and to the Twitch channel up in the eye above for regular live streams. But a big thank you for watching, for joining me as always, for watching our mistake live, and I'll see you next time to see if we can recover and if a director of football can come in and potentially save the day. I think that's what's needed. I'll see you next time to find out if it happens.